Number 1 in air power, with 13,264 total military aircraft.
Man, they don't even come close. Look at that statistic. That is outrageous. Hey troops, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a fantastic video that we're going to be reacting to. It's called How Strong is the United States Military? Why is the United States military the strongest on the planet? Well, there's loads of reasons why that is, guys, but today we're going to break it down for you. Why is it important that I do a reaction on this? Well, you know, I was serving Royal Marines Commando, and I know a little bit about the military. I've worked with the United States on a few occasions, so I do know and understand how the military works, okay, guys, especially from a British perspective. I think it's going to be important. Let's get into this. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the comments. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Why is the US military the strongest?
Because
Great military powers have been appearing and disappearing since the beginning of history. Now is the time for the United States of America to be the leader in military might. But what makes it so powerful? Will its power remain undisputed? Are there already signs of weakness? Would it really stand in a conflict with potential rivals like China or Russia?
It wouldn't just stand in a conflict with the likes of China or Russia. It would decimate. You can. I mean, we're talking about forward projection. The United States can literally operate on multiple fronts at the same time in different parts of the globe. It's that big.
To find out, we should analyse why exactly the US military is considered the strongest. The numbers. The US has 1,400,000 active military personnel. This figure places it in third place in this category.
Bearing in mind, this is off 3 years ago. I think those numbers will be higher now. Behind India, yeah, but the quality difference from the United States to India, you just can't compare it, guys, all right? It's so different.
China has the largest army with slightly above 2 million soldiers.
Again, training-wise, you know, China's not the best.
While India comes in second place. This doesn't sound that impressive, but what makes the US military stand out is not necessarily the raw number of men. The US has unquestionable air supremacy. The US military is number 1 in air power, with 13,264 total military aircraft. A total that is greater than the other 5 greatest air forces combined.
That is insane. That is insane. That's why they win, guys. End of video. Let's just close it up now.
2,085 are air-to-air fighters, 715 ground attack aircraft, 945 transportation aircraft, 5,768 helicopters, and 967 attack helicopters. The US is number 1 in each aircraft category, except for air-to-ground forces, where it's slightly topped by Russia.
Okay.
The US has a powerful navy that is designed to work in conjunction with its air forces.
Not just a powerful navy, guys. We need to really emphasize this point. Listen to what I'm going to say. Their navy is incredible, absolutely diabolically incredible. You know, the sheer size of it is unbelievable.
It has 20 aircraft carriers. 11 are regular fixed-wing carriers, while 9 are capable of hosting only helicopters and short takeoff planes like the F-35B. This is almost half of the world's total number of aircraft carriers, while most of the others belong to allied countries.
That is phenomenal. Just for giving a point of reference, aircraft carriers are basically walking cities on the sea. They're phenomenal. They're massive. You can get lost on these things. US has 20.
If we take into account only regular fixed-wing aircraft capacity, the total combined deck space of the US aircraft carriers is over twice that of all the other nations combined. To complement this, the US Navy has the greatest number of destroyers and ranks 3rd in the number of submarines.
Outrageous. Right, 3rd, yes, but I'm not just like kissing bottom here. I want to be honest with you. The quality, again, we need to talk about the quality and the integrity of these vessels that we're talking about. North Korea, yeah, they might. What type of submarines are we talking about? What's the quality of them? Are they like 50 years old and half of them are unserviceable? Yes, that's probably the truth of it.
The numbers of the US naval strength are a bit tricky. If we count the total number of naval assets, the US falls in 4th place, behind Russia and China, and even behind North Korea, that boasts a surprising 1st place.
Wow.
However, in case of a maritime conflict, it would still be hard to counter the power of the US Navy, supported by overwhelming air supremacy and allied forces.
It would be impossible. Let's get it right.
Land power.
Yeah, buddy, this is where I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking. Let's get it.
The US is slightly behind Russia regarding raw numbers. American ground forces number 6,289 tanks, 39,000 armoured vehicles, 1,465 self-propelled artillery, and 1,366 rocket projectors. However, Russia has...
However, let's have a look at Russia's capability. We've got men in World War II uniforms on something that looks like it's not even real.
A lot of outdated vehicles with questionable performance in case of a real conflict. Meanwhile, the US military has a broad technological edge. The US has 5,800 nuclear warheads that make it the world's second largest in nuclear war power. In this video, we're analysing the conventional military strength, but it can't be denied that a nuclear arsenal does bring a certain status.
There's that guy again. I've done a few videos on him.
Even if things don't escalate to a full-blown nuclear war, it's intimidating to any country to be armoured with such nuclear power.
Massively intimidating. We don't want that.
The quality.
Right, this is the thing. Quality, heads and tails. US is number one. Let's not get it twisted. They are number one, guys.
The US Army consists entirely of trained...
No, the US military. US Army is one part of the military.
...professionals, and many have real combat experience. Since the beginning of this century, the US has been involved in military conflicts in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Somalia, Libya, Uganda and Yemen. While other countries still rely on conscripts to fill the numbers, the US can field an army of well-trained, experienced professionals. The equipment, the military assets and the technology used in combat have excellent quality. This is the defining reason why US casualties are usually fewer than those of their adversaries.
Yeah, I could give them that.
The strong ability to project power is another defining trait of the United States military. Size, technology and experience are nothing if you can't reach the enemy.
That's so true.
Power projection is the ability of a state to deploy and sustain forces outside its territory. Only a few states are capable to overcome the difficulties that involve power projection, and the US excels at it. This is made possible by several factors. The home base of the US is safe. The neighbouring countries are
safe beyond belief. You could try to attack that from whatever angle you want to, but realistically speaking, there's nothing you can do there, guys. All right? America's pretty much impenetrable when you think about it, from the sea anyway.
Friendly. Potential enemies are far away. The large landmass makes it a country that is hard to invade. It also has coastlines along 2 oceans and strategic islands that hold military bases. The US forces can reach far, fast, and deploy great numbers of forces supported by the enforcement of air and sea superiority, combined with excellent transportation capabilities. Even if it
probably is the best transportation capabilities on the planet, and as I've paused it, look at that site right there. That's one of the reasons not to mess with the US military.
Doesn't engage in combat, the US can enforce naval and air blockades that can severely cripple an enemy's economy. The US has by far the largest network of military bases operating outside of its territory. Information regarding the exact number and location of such bases involves classified information, so we can only estimate the total extent of the overseas military presence.
It's massive. We can estimate that it's still massive.
In 2013, the Pentagon stated that there were around 600 military bases overseas. A rough estimate would be around 1,000 overseas US military compounds. Approximately 165,000 military personnel.
Who's that guy on the left with the hat on, the jungle hat? What is he doing? Definitely actors, right? Not even good ones here. What's he doing? He's about 90 years old there. Old Gramps is on the front line.
Now is stationed outside the United States. This doesn't include areas of conflict such as Syria, Iraq and Afghanistan.
Damn.
The US has significant forces deployed in around 55 countries and autonomous territories. It is also estimated that more than 150 countries have a certain degree of US military presence.
Oh, massively. And they've done that strategically as well when you think about it. They want to be pretty much here, there and everywhere. So in the event of a major operation in, the eastern seabed, for instance, you can just deploy troops there, no problem. You don't want to deploy all of your assets from America. You want to be able to deploy them from forward operating bases, Diego Garcia, East Africa, all of these places. Makes it easy.
The United States can rely on a vast network of alliances. It is the de facto leader of NATO, the world's strongest military alliance.
Yes.
18 other countries are designated as major non-NATO allies. This list includes countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Egypt, Israel, Argentina, and Brazil. Taiwan's status is a bit more complicated and it can be considered a de facto ally.
Yeah,
some countries are not formal allies but have a strong strategic partnership with the US. One notable example is India, that participates in regular military drills together with US forces and some of its allies.
I give the Indians stick. They've got a massive military. They might do a lot of weird stuff, but they're good. They're always doing operations in the Kashmir border and stuff like that. So these guys, a lot of them are actually very skilled, and more important, they're up to date with warfighting.
Economy. Modern warfare is sustained in the long term by two main factors: the capacity to produce military equipment and the capacity to spend money on defense.
Yeah.
American defense companies are the indisputable top producers of weaponry. Mm-hmm. Among the world's top 10 defense suppliers, 5 of them are American companies. Lockheed Martin is the biggest. It reported a revenue of almost $60 billion in 2019. That's close to Russia's entire annual military.
That is absolutely diabolical.
Military spending. The strength of the US military is also due to its huge military budget. In 2019, spending on the US military was a whopping $732 billion.
And that was then. It's probably over $1 trillion now. I mean, come on, guys. Look at this. I mean, the UK's got a fantastic military. It's got like 48 million in there. Nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Yeah, that there is, it just begs belief, but there's a reason why they outperform everyone.
That's almost 3 times more than China, the world's second largest military spender, and is roughly 1/3 of the entire world's defense budget. While Russia is commonly regarded as the second most powerful army in the world, its budget consists of only $65 billion. Arguably,
crazy.
There is an aspect of purchasing power. For example, it's cheaper to pay a Russian or Chinese soldier, but the cost of high-quality military equipment is still the same around the world. The reason that the US can afford such an enormous military budget is that it's supported by a strong economy. America has been the world's largest economy since 1871. Its nominal GDP is currently $21.44 trillion.
Yeah, let's not talk about that debt though, shall we?
This is almost a quarter of the global economy, and it's backed with plenty of natural resources, advanced infrastructure and technology.
Man, I love America. I'm not just saying it. When I went there, like 10 years ago now, I wanted to live there. Some Marines do actually end up leaving the military and literally moving to America. It's that good. I know you got a lot of problems at the moment, but I love the place.
Besides the ability to sustain an enormous defense budget, the US often uses its economic strength as a weapon by enforcing economic sanctions.
Yeah, that's so true.
Soft factors. Soft power is another factor that comes into play when assessing a country's might. The US is world-beating in culture, education and technology.
You better believe
American pop culture has an enormous influence, and this won't...
It's got a massive influence across the world. My wife's family from Mauritius, all the kids there sound American because they watch American stuff all the time. They shouldn't sound American, but they do. And that's the pop culture we're talking about. It's influential across the globe, guys, okay?
Won't change anytime soon.
It's not
America
changing,
also hosts most of the world's top-ranking universities with a record number of international students. The US leads the world of technology and digitalization as home to the world's most influential tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. It's easy to think that this doesn't seem important in warfare. But imagine an enemy soldier that would have to attack the country where his cousin studies, the country of his favourite music band, the country of his favourite actors from the movie that he watches on an American media platform like YouTube, or on an American smartphone with American software.
Wow, I never thought about it like this.
Finally, there is another critical aspect.
Hey, there's the UK. There's the UK. Right, why has this guy got a helmet on? Yeah? Why has this guy got a helmet on backwards with specs on? And why has this guy got a jungle hat on? Come on, we need to start paying these actors more.
It is called the will to fight. And this is the single most important factor in war.
And he's got, what's this on his chin? Hey, he's got a goatee going on there. Go on, son.
Fight is the disposition to engage in combat, the determination to keep fighting even when facing precarious odds, and finally to win. At an individual level, a soldier with a low will to fight will avoid engagement with the enemy and is likely to flee when things get tough. A battle is won when the enemy's will to fight is broken. Wars don't end when one military destroys the other. Wars end when one side grows weary of fighting, doesn't see any further purpose in the continuation of the conflict, and gives up.
That is very true, actually.
The national will to...
Look at those warriors there. What do you reckon, guys? Real war fighters. We got a helmet with blood coming down. He's wearing a t-shirt. We got a jungle hat. We got a bit of blood in his face there. Vampire. He got, someone who works in a kebab shop with a jungle hat on. I don't know what this guy is. What's he wearing? He's wearing body armor for like a nightclub or something. You got this guy cuddling his AK with nothing on his head. Hasn't been shaved in weeks. What the hell?
To fight is what keeps a nation fighting. This is commonly linked to a sense of patriotism, national identity, and motivation generated by the idea that one fights for what is right.
Look, and America does it right. And I'm being honest, I think a lot of Brits feel the same, especially the military guys. We're patriotic to the United States as well. I don't know if that's an unusual thing. Is that the same for Yanks? Do you Americans feel patriotic to Britain? Let me know about that.
In the past, this has been a strong point of the US, as Americans have been fighting against dictators and terrorists that lacked concern for human life and dignity. In contrast, the USA has been regarded as a country that embodies values of freedom, democracy, and rule of law.
Well, yeah, I think that's changed slightly over the past few years since this video was aired. That's one thing I regret to say, and I know you guys will agree with that.
It was the country that defined such values. Even more, it was the country that was willing to fight for these values. The American soldier has been motivated by a sense of moral supremacy rooted in the country's Christian tradition. However, America doesn't seem to be so cohesive in its values anymore. There are many factors intertwined that provoke this. It's a complex topic that deserves a study on its own. But the outcome is that America is now a country that is greatly divided among ideological lines and systems of belief. Many of its citizens are not sure what to believe in anymore, or even what they stand for.
It's sad.
There have been many lessons in history. Small nations became great empires by holding high moral standards along with a disciplined and motivated army. A great empire's fall was usually preceded by internal strife and moral crisis. The final story of the United States of America as a global power is not yet written. The nation's strength rests upon its citizens and their decisions.
Yeah.
It's a matter of this great nation getting back its cohesion and moral compass. That is, if it wants to keep its status as the world's greatest superpower.
World's greatest superpower. Superpower, not power. Right, you mentioned something there about moral compass, and I think that's very important to talk about. The question I would like to give you guys, and if you can answer in the comments, is who gets to set that moral compass that we follow? Because at the moment, the moral compass seems to be, left and right and all over the place. And not just America, but the UK as well at this moment in time. Very, very difficult times to live in, especially for politics and stuff like that. And politics drive our country and the standards of our country. And overall, it whittles down all the way to the military, to how effective we are. You know, the woke brigade and stuff like that don't make strong soldiers. It's a fact. You can say what you want. And the forefathers that fought for our freedoms were all strong men, built on strong principles with a good, solid moral compass. That's one thing we can all agree on, can't we? But guys, thanks for stopping by. Please share this video far and wide. It really does help me out massively. Drop a comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you have subscribed for a while, let me know in the comments. I want to speak to you.